Hello, everybody. This is Scott Roberts from Explore Scientific, and you have arrived at episode 10 of the Open Go-To Live community. And tonight we've got our usual cast of characters here with Jerry Hubble and Kent Mart still hiding behind a tablet. And so,
Kent doesn't like to show his face anymore. I don't know why.
yeah,
Why would that be?
Luke, I am your father.
So
Somebody's
anyhow,
got.
it's great to have you guys all join us again. We have had, I do want to say that we've had great response to this programming, and it's been wonderful to interact with community members of the Open Go-To community. So what we've been doing is we did a little bit of jumping around in the series. We went from some beginner parts to more serious, advanced parts of the PMC8 and the way to use it. And the Explore Stars app is something we've been going through to show you how to install it, how to install the object database on the Android version, and tonight how to install it on the Windows iOS, or not the iOS, but the OS. That's a conundrum, right? So, but the Windows operating system and how to get the object database downloaded into the Windows system. So we've got, I see that Mike Overacker is here with us. Mike watched the iOS Explore Stars video last night. Thank you. And so I guess we're going to take it away from here. Where do we want to get started? Let Kent.
Okay, so
Yeah, Kent's going to drive it today. He's
Yeah.
got the laptop,
Okay.
and so he's going to drive it.
so this is a Windows Surface Pro. So we have it set up in laptop mode, but the screen can be taken off and become a touch screen. But easier just to set it up. But it would work exactly the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see right here, we've downloaded the PMC8 Configuration Manager, which you get from the Explore Scientific website.
You want me to show that real quick, Kent?
Yeah,
on
go ahead
my
and
desktop.
show. Yes, I was getting ready to do it, but you go ahead. It'll share
Okay.
better.
Okay, let me share my screen, and then let me get out of this, and here we are. So can you see my desktop?
Yes.
All right, so you'll go to the, let me start at the top of the hit parade here. So you'll go to mounts here, to PMC8 mounts.
Click there.
And then there's two ways. You can either click on this link here that says Explore Stars Software and Database Downloads, or it's at the very top here under Support. You can see, right, it goes to the same spot. So you can go here and get to this page. And what you want to do is you want to go down past the Explore Stars app. You want to do this first with the Configuration Manager. You want to keep scrolling down, then you get to the PMC8 downloads, and the first thing there is the PMC8 Configuration Manager and Utility.
And I tell people it's right below the video. So it makes it easier maybe to scroll through and find. See, right below that video.
That's right.
And so we go through the download process. You download it and then extract the files and then run the executable file. And you end up with a icon on your desktop, this shortcut to PMC8 Configuration Manager. So we're going to go ahead and open it. I'll make the screen a little bit bigger.
Pull it down a little bit, because the top, you can't quite see the top. Don't pull the big box bigger, just pull the top down so you can center it. Yeah, keep going. All right, now we can see the whole thing.
Is that better?
Go up just a little
good.
bit. Just go up again just a tiny bit. There you go.
Okay. So now we're going to, there's tabs right here, instructions, which is always good to read the instructions first. It tells you what to do. Connections we're not going to use. Explore stars, firmware, and advanced. Today we're going to use Explore stars, and that brings us to the steps to install Explore stars. And we're installing on a Windows machine today. We're going to
We're talking about the
install
database. We're talking about exploring the database,
correct.
not the application.
Thank you, Jerry. Yes, we're downloading the database. Has to be on the machine in a specific area. So we can look at that specific area real quick. It's going to go into this PC's pictures folder. You can look through here and see there's no Explore stars in here. Now, sometimes people get it on their OneDrive up here in the pictures folder. That's a serious problem if you get it there because it won't see it. So, downloading the database, we're going to install it to Windows. If we were going to install it onto an Android device, we would go over here to install to an SD card. This is for Android. So we're going to click on Windows.
We demonstrated that yesterday in yesterday's program.
In episode 9. So we're going to come down here to download, and this is complicated here. We're going to click. And it's going to take a few minutes, and we'll see what happens. And we get the spinning blue wheel of death or of patience. And of course, when we did it in testing a while ago, it went like Jiminy Christmas, but now the whole world is watching.
I'm gonna some people have joined tonight's Mike Wiesner, Mike Overacker, Amity Astro, I guess. He says, finally made it to one of the broadcasts. Hi, Scott. Mike Wiesner. Let's see. Steve Seedentop is here. Hello, everybody. We tried something new. We're simulcasting on Facebook and YouTube. We have the Explore Scientific YouTube channel. I am still figuring things out, and so the titling and stuff on this particular show is not quite right. So we'll have to go back and fix that after the fact. But anyways, the stream's working, which is the main thing.
Okay, so we've got it downloaded now. It says the database was successfully downloaded. So we're going to click OK, and that's the end of what we need, the configuration manager. But first, just to check, back up here to the File Explorer Pictures folder, and there should be a folder in there named Explore Stars, and it looks like there's not.
Are you in the right directory with the pictures? Is a user's pictures? I mean, you got a user account. It's under the user account pictures folder.
Yeah, this PC pictures.
Now, tonight we made this a real challenge. Yeah. Okay, we're actually using somebody else's tablet, and so
right.
So there are, we're having to work through some of the configuration and stuff of the way that this person has configured their tablet. And we do this all day long with users because there are so many different configurations. People do add certain security measures and stuff like that that can sometimes make this a little bit of a challenge.
So
did you go under users directory and look at the username?
Let's do that next.
James, the astrophotographer, he says he owns 2 PMC-8 mounts and he's watched every episode, and he's definitely learned some things that have given him some issues in the past. Thank you for these. Today is the first time I get to watch live. So thanks for joining, James.
So what did you find there, Kent?
So I'm in the users folder, and we have user. We have it's just Windows C users.
Is there names under? There's accounts listed under there, right?
ES temp. There it is right there. So it put it in a different spot. So we're literally going to right click on it.
That's, how do you know it's supposed to not be there?
Because it's not in the pictures folder.
But there should be a pictures folder under the account. So when you logged into this machine, did you log in with an account, or it was just starts up already logged in?
Ray logged it in. The owner logged it in.
So the pictures folder that we're looking for is his account's pictures folder. So that should be correct. It should have put it under that account.
So we'll
I don't know
find
why
out.
it didn't.
So easy enough. We'll just go ahead and close the configuration manager. Come over here to Microsoft Windows. And so this is on the very top of that page. Jerry, you want to share your screen? And
what are we doing?
Going to the top of the downloads page to show where the app download is and how to get to it.
Right here?
Yeah, go on up. Yep, keep going up. So there we go. So we're going to click on Microsoft Windows 10 Explore Stars app download, and that's right here where we are. So now I'm going to click on Windows 10 Explore Stars app download, and here's the database, but we don't need that anymore because we've already done it the easy way with the configuration manager. I'm going to click, and we're going to go to the store and click. Yep.
Can't see my screen. I mean, you're looking at my screen right now, right?
Yeah. Hey, switch. Hang on. Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
Back.
Here, I'll just bring up all the screens.
Oh, okay. I just switched to my other one.
So we clicked to.
I'm not sure what you're doing, Kent. What are you doing?
I'm downloading the application, Explore Stars.
So you're going to try it. You're going to download and install it and see if it's got the right location.
Just correct.
Okay. All right.
That's a good test to see if it's. So we're going to click Get. We're going to open the Microsoft Store. And we're going to click Install. And of course, once again, we get set and wait, and Scott gets to fill time.
Cohen is asking a question. Is it possible to use a guide cam with the iXOS 100? And if so, how does that work? And Steve, I think, has answered the question already. He says you can through the ST4 port, but honestly, it's easier just to guide through the ASCOM driver, one less cable. You have any
and more
that?
control.
That's right. That's typically what we suggest to users, that the legacy port's there for people that have standalone guide cameras that don't use a PC. But if you're going to use a PC to acquire your data or to do anything else with the ASCOM driver, then we suggest you go ahead and use pulse guiding with your guiding system.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that, Jerry? Better control, better data management?
Well, like Steve said, there's one less cable. That's a good reason. One less cable to snag. The other one is that there are some features you get with the pulse guiding functions on the ASCOM driver that you don't get with the cable. It knows the system knows where it is in the sky, and it does a better job of calculating when you do a peer flip. There's no correction you have to do. It's automatic, that type of stuff.
Okay, so we've downloaded the app. I guess the screen can be seen, right?
Yeah.
Is that screen still up? Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to simply launch the app, and we're going to know real quick data files missing. So that tells us that data files are not where it expects them to be. So I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to close this window, minimize that one. So we know we found those a minute ago.
Yeah, stick those where you think they should be. Different people have different systems. I'm typically, if you log into the Windows machine, it's going to put it in the pictures file under that account.
But it didn't this time, which is good because all of our customers face exactly what we're doing right now. And it's a problem solving routine. So I know where it is because I found it. And it's zipped. It didn't extract it. Interesting. So it did not extract it. So I'm going to tell it to extract all. And
I think it did extract it. It's just you found the zip file. It extracted where you don't know where it's at. That's what the problem is.
So the
Yeah,
Explorer Stars.
I'm sure it did the
Yeah.
extraction.
So
Steve
I'm
Seed and
copy
Top
this.
is still talking about the guiding, and he adds that the only difference is where you'll point PhD to or whatever guiding application that you use. So
I'm going to copy
we'll have to have
this.
a whole show on guiding.
So I've copied
Yeah, we could
that.
have
I'm gonna
something
go
on
into the pictures
configuration.
folder. So now I'm going into the hard drives pictures folder, and I'm going to paste the Explorer Stars database in here. And this folder contains the images folder and 3 database files: Explorer Stars Bright, and Explorer Stars. So now that we know those are there, I'm going to close that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to close that. I'm going to close that because it'll never see them. And launch the Explorer Stars app again.
Mike says he's dropping off out to go outside to photograph smoke from Bighorn Fire on Mount Lemon. Oh boy.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Fire's 12
enjoying seeing
miles
those
away.
photos on.
Looks bad. Smoke looks like a nuclear bomb went off.
Yeah, I've been watching his pictures the last couple of days. Okay, so now you see we have this please wait message. And please wait for what? Well, it's telling you that it's not connected up to the mount. So I'm going to once again close the app, come over here to the Wi-Fi, and I'm going to lean over until I'm going to wait for the PMC8 to come up.
It's powered up, right? It's powered up over there next to you?
Yes, sir. It's across the room. I'm going to go turn it on.
I'm going to cycle the power
on
it. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. See if I can get out of here without pulling any cords off the desk. Hey.
There he is. Hey, Kent. He still looks the same.
That's better. I guess that's better than the alternative. I don't know. He could look better, though, I guess, maybe.
The change. Any change would be good.
That's why I shaved my Corona beard off. That's why I wanted some change.
When I was a boy, I would sometimes comb my... I've always combed my hair this way, but sometimes I would start combing it over that way and see if anybody noticed. And people like look at me and go, "You look different today." I should do that for a show one time. Just do it. Of course, I'd have to have that goop on my hair to make it hold it down. Mike says, "I'm hoping for the safety of the firefighter brothers at the fire. People have no idea how hard a job forest firefighting is."
It's at the top. It's at the top there.
There,
I saw it.
Dan, there we go. There it is. So I didn't tell it to forget the password last time. So we're going to go ahead and connect. Forgot to do that.
Now, Windows, the interface here, I've noticed that Windows always says it's not, it takes forever to show you connected on this pop-up that you're using to connect.
Yeah.
So I basically take it off that and go down and check, and you'll see it's already connected down at the bottom right.
There it is. So it's connected now. And so we do a quick test, and I always do this as just a quick test.
There it is. What you're seeing on top of the iXOS 100 right now is a spotting scope from a company that we purchased last year called Alpen, and Alpen makes real fine outdoor sports optics. This is kind of a cool spotting scope in 80 millimeter. You can see it on our website if you go there.
Very good optics.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the first thing to do is we need to do some configuration. So up here, under the three little pop-up menus,
We
we're
don't
going
see
to
the
go.
top.
Oh,
We
you
don't see the
don't?
top of the
Okay.
screen. We need to resize that or bring it down or something, or back the camera off because we don't see it.
Is that
You've got it.
better?
We can see the top now. Yeah, we can't read the.
Okay.
You can't see the settings selection, but over in the upper left-hand corner
Right
is the
there.
settings, right?
Yeah, I can't. Okay, I can't. What I'm seeing shows it should be there, but okay. So we're going to go to settings. And we're to preferences in this pop-out menu that appeared. And use JRH. That stands for Jerry R. Hubble, and we're not going to use Jerry R. Hubble.
Oh,
We're going.
You don't use me or abuse me, either one.
It's maybe we need to change this in the next iteration and call it abuse JRH. So
Yeah.
use GPS is turned on. Night mode is on. Debug mode doesn't matter. Log target data doesn't matter. You can turn it off if you want to. Show alignment data. I'm going to turn that one on. Move up a little bit. Longitude and latitude is not here. We're going to work on that. Scope type is IXOS 100.
There's
Now let's
something
go
that
to
this version of Windows, the Explorer Stars, is older, much older than the Android and the iOS version. That's something that. So you'll see differences and you'll see features that aren't here because we're working on getting the code between all the three platforms the same, and we haven't migrated it down to back to create the new version of Explorer Stars for Windows yet.
that sounds easier than what it actually is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
so
really,
I'm just
really.
going to go ahead. I'm going to enter this manually. The latitude is 36.19. We're going to say.
That's one feature that that tablet may or may not have a GPS receiver, but that's one thing in the Windows Explorer Stars that we don't have a button for to migrate it into that.
Mm-hmm.
So longitude is 94.19, we'll say. So those are now done. So we have an about button in preferences and Explorer Stars. So we're done now.
There's one other thing. There's one other thing, Kent, that people you want to make sure the time is correct.
That's where we're going right here. That's what I was doing next. Right up here. Can you see this? Is it on the screen? Okay. So the
Not
local
really.
time.
It's kind of pushed up. It's kind of pushed up a little bit.
Is that better?
Yeah.
So the local time is 16:25:09, and looking on my phone, it's 16:25 something. So we know the time is right. And local means sidereal time is there. It hasn't picked up the longitude and latitude yet.
So if you go to that, there's a home. On that pull down, you do the upper left pull down. Is there a thing to go to home page?
Nope.
I'm trying to remember where that is. You can hit the little home icon. Is there a home icon?
Nope.
Or home button up there at the top? I can't. That we're not seeing the whole screen, Ken.
I don't know why.
I see the whole screen.
On mine.
I see the whole screen.
Is it showing the whole screen? I don't see it on the on my display. I guess that's what the problem is. It's me.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the main menu.
You can definitely see it. You can see the whole.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Except for the,
now it just.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can see right here that it's now picked up the longitude and latitude that I put in. So we're all good. Okay. And the local time is now 16:26. That's what it is. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is And this is different than the Android and Apple versions. It's called menu on those. Here it's called app bar. And so let's just review what's here. Return to main page. This is where the home button was, Jerry. Alignment, stars,
Yeah.
messy objects, solar system, take turn, load extra stars. There's no extra stars to load. It's a non-existent button or a non-functioning button. Sync to target, 3-star alignment, 2-star alignment, alignment to coordinate input, and capture target. Over here is park, so let's just park it. And it's going to go back to the home position. And the home position is wherever it was pointing, however the mount was set when you turned it on. So if it was not, pointed with the counterweight bar straight down and declination of 0 pointing at Polaris, then it's going to go to whatever that position was. So reset alignment data and reset comm link. We don't have any alignment data to reset, but I tell everybody to practice just every time you go here, before you do an alignment, 2-star alignment, virtual alignment, reset the alignment data. So we're going to go into a 2-star alignment. And it wants us to go to 77 Ursa Majoris, the various different names. We can't see that. We can see Mizar and Alcor, so we're going to tell it to align to this star. As you can see, there's also information about that star on both of these windows, sides of the window. So we're going to align to that star. So as we can see, the camera is on the northeast side of the tripod. So it's moving to obviously low, excuse me, I said northwest side of the tripod. It's looking low in the northwestern sky to get Mizar and Alcor. So we're here, center the target in the eyepiece and press sync on target. And this is where we get some confusions because people watch the Windows video and that does not apply to other versions of it. So I'm just going to come over here and we're moving at a speed of 3. Notice it changed to a speed of 3. And I'm just going to move the mount just a little bit. And it's going to create a count how many steps we took to get it centered. And now the directions tell us to sync on target.
Yeah, this is called enter. This is actually what we're doing is we're entering the data for that star position into the model tool that's built into the Explore stars. On the other applications, you see it says enter key. There's an enter key, and sync is a specific, distinct, separate function from entering the data for the alignment.
So we can see Capella and Auriga, which Auriga is one of my favorite constellations, M36, 37, 38. It's some of the things I learned to find earliest, and it's just sort of become just like to see it. So again, we're going to align to this star, and we're going to take off, and the mount's going to go to Auriga.
One of the nice features of the Windows version that you see there is that it's highlighting the star position on the chart. That chart is not a real planetarium chart. I think you had a question earlier about that, didn't you, Kent? The people
yes, earlier today we were talking about that. So there was somebody who was wondering why it didn't scroll with it. So they expected it to be like a planetarium where this image would move.
What we did is we put up.
Capella ended up 0.
We actually had Will Tyrion create the maps. Okay, Will makes static maps. He has never done a planetarium type program before, but the accuracy of those maps are very accurate. And our real thrust here was not to give you a planetarium experience, but rather to teach you the stars and the constellations, and and to understand more about just how to aim the telescope. So.
Right. So now we've centered Capella, and we're going to once again do what it says: press the sync on target button, which it doesn't say sync on target, but it says sync. So we're entering the data that we've created. Now we've done a virtual 2-star alignment. What that's done is it's mapped the difference between a perfect polar alignment and how the mount is aligned. And so now it can create Jerry's called a transform, and applies a mathematical model so it compensates for the errors that we have because we haven't gotten polar aligned. Jerry, you want to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, so that's basically right. It's so there's two coordinate systems. There's the celestial coordinate system, which is the true position of the stars, and then there's the telescope coordinate system, which is where the telescope thinks it's pointing at. So you have a difference between the two when you're not polar aligned. So that's what you do when you do a physical polar alignment. You're aligning the telescope coordinate system to the celestial coordinate system. You're getting them perfectly aligned in altitude and azimuth. All right. Now, so in this mode, we're not relying on that. We're relying on you could just plop it down and use a virtual alignment, which we're doing here. And we're creating a mount model where it takes the coordinates of the sky and say, okay, where do I need to point the telescope in the telescope coordinate system to get to that star? So that's what it's doing. It's going back and forth between those two systems automatically to point to the object and also to track it accurately.
All right, so we've got the virtual alignment done. So now let's go to the sun is always a good target, and we're indoors, so our telescope does not have to have a solar safe filter, but obviously we don't want to go to the sun without a solar safe filter. We're going to select solar system objects. We're going to select the sun, and we're going to Jerry's not giving us a slew to. Any idea what's up with that, Jerry?
What time is in the computer, in the laptop, or the tablet?
It's correct. Let's look and see. We won't go here. We got to go
You
back
check
to
the
home.
time. Well,
Let's look for
the
mistakes.
longitude, latitude, and the time.
Yeah.
We check longitude and latitude is 30. Oh, no. I made a mistake.
Uh-oh.
Does anybody see Kent's mistake?
No minus sign, right?
No minus
Yeah, that's
sign.
the
I
one you harp
wonder if
on all
that
the
was
time, dude.
intentional or not. I wonder if that was intentional or not. Could it be?
I think so.
I think it might have been strategic. I will always claim that it was strategic. You'd be surprised how many people make that mistake. Because we're west of the prime meridian, you have to have a minus sign in there. Otherwise, it'll think the sun is not up where we are. And on top of that, we goofed up our alignment because it thought we were in Siberia or somewhere.
Well, but it pointed to the stars. At least it didn't try to point to the ground. The stars were. I mean, look at that one star. It's really close to the horizon.
Yeah. So anyway, back here. So now let's try to go to the sun and see what happens, just to see what that effect was.
Yeah, you would have found that out as soon as you tried to go to the first star, that it wasn't anywhere near the star.
Right.
We kind of faked it this time around.
No.
We got lucky.
Or I should say we simulated it. It wasn't faked. It was simulated.
But it's easy to forget to put in that minus sign when you're doing it manually. when it's your tablet has GPS, it just sucks in the information and it just has it. But every once in a while, there's somebody that forgets that minus sign, and it points to the opposite side of the Earth, basically. So that's a pretty good. The mount is pretty polar line because that's definitely pointing up towards the sun. So gives you a nice little view of the solar system as well. And this does not show where the planets are in their orbit. Otherwise, if all the planets lined up like this, it would be a doomsday scenario, according to many of the internet wisdom people.
Yeah, every tabloid would be going crazy right now.
It would cause
massive
squirrels to scuba dive, mass extinctions. There's just no telling what would happen.
All the magnetic poles would be flipping over and over. It'd be crazy.
Dogs and cats singing Kumbaya. Okay, so
frogs would be falling out of the sky.
Hey, that's happened.
That actually has happened.
You're in Arkansas. So we get those things called twisters, alignment.
So Messier objects, Crab Nebula, boom, off we go. Nice map showing where it's going.
Okay.
I like this function of the Windows version showing you where it's going. So, Gary, let's talk about what's going. Right now it's in triangle P mode. That means something, doesn't it?
That means that we're operating in point mode. There's two modes. One's called track and one's called point. We're currently in point mode, which uses the mount model to calculate the position that the telescope mount needs to point at to get on the star in the celestial coordinate system. Because remember, the model transforms the telescope coordinate system into the celestial coordinate system. So that's what that means. So when you're not polar aligned, you're going to drive both the right ascension and the declination to keep that object centered in the eyepiece, because you got some drift due to not being polar aligned, and that's what the point mode does. It's like a bird dog. It continuously points to the calculated position of the object.
Yes.
And now I've tapped the down button just to make it move a little bit, and it's gone to the square TR.
Yeah, so whenever you go to a manual mode, it goes to track mode. So now it's just set the mount controller to say track at a sidereal rate. And now it's in manual mode, where you can move it manually with the buttons. You can toggle that back to point mode.
I don't know.
Is that not? Oh, that's not the
version.
feature. That feature is not in the Windows version. In the Android and the iOS version, that icon is actually not just an indicator; it's a button where you can toggle between track and point mode. So the only way to go back to point mode is to slew to an object, slew back to the same object, or slew to coordinates. So if you move the mount manually to a coordinate, the only way to do it right now in the Windows version is to make note of that coordinate and then slew to that coordinate through the manual. So if you go to that page where we can slew to coordinates, that's where you would put it in. There's a button. So right there. So you would enter the coordinates that you're currently at if you've moved it manually, and then hit slew to or submit, and it would slew to those coordinates, and it would be in point mode. That's a workaround to get there. This updated version of the Windows Explorer Stars will include that. That won't be an icon anymore. It'll be a button to switch between point and track mode.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to do astrophotography, you would want to be in. Although we don't recommend doing astrophotography with Explorer Stars because it was not designed for that. Many people begin doing astrophotography this way. You want to be in track mode.
Right, and that's only because when you're in point mode, there's a little bit of jitter in the motion of the mount, because the mount is 5 times a second. Explorer Stars is telling the mount to point here, point here, point here. So it's not a continuous motion. It's only every 5 times a second. So you see these little tiny jumps, okay? and that causes jitter, and you don't like that when you're doing astrophotography.
No.
When you're in track mode, it's a smooth, continuous tracking motion, but it's only in RA. Deck does no longer move. So, as always in astrophotography, you really need to have a good polar alignment, a physical polar alignment. You don't want to rely on this virtual alignment to do astrophotography.
No.
Okay, so let's explore a little bit more. We've done messy objects. Let's take a tour. Let's see what this does. Select a tour.
AE
Let's take a tour.
MIDI says, I've been doing astrophotography for Explore Stars for a year.
Who did? What was the person?
AE MIDI. Maybe it's MIDI. Not sure.
We'd love to see some pictures.
Yeah, it would be cool to see some of your astrophotographs. That would be cool.
Yes. Send those. Easy enough. Send those to
we've
service.
Had some more people join us here. We've got Cohen joined us, Steve, Dan Janisic joined us here on Facebook. Jim Lamb joined. We've had a few people join us from on YouTube as well. So it's nice to be able to be on two different platforms at the same time. I did make a couple little errors, but it's working. So
if you're not a member of the Groups IO platform, Jerry, or Scott, you want to post a link to that on the chat so people can join,
sure.
Because the Groups IO platform for the PMC8 users group is a great resource and a wonderful place to share your astro photographs. And say, look what I'm doing with Explore Stars Unguided. It's always impressive to see what people do and what they get without using a guide scope and just relying on Explore Stars. And what's important is it's a platform where you can explain what you're doing so other people learn from your technique that you've developed and maybe mastered, things that some people haven't thought about. So while Scott's doing that, let's take a tour of Leo. Let's just see what's in Leo. We're going to take a tour. So off it goes, and it's going to Regulus, which makes sense. It would be the first object you go to. It's a bright star. Yeah.
I wanted to mention a feature that the PMC8 can do, and you may see it works for the most part in terms of Explore Stars. So let's say you're slewing right now to Regulus and you want to go to the next star. You can go to the next star and it'll jump and it'll automatically retarget the the PMC8 to go to that next object.
And that's what I just did that. But oh my gosh, it's getting ready to crash into something. So I clicked on any one of the left, right, up, down buttons, and it instantly stopped it. So that's the emergency stop mode. If it's going to crash into something, or you look up and it's somehow wrapped a cable around something and getting ready to break off your camera or something, you can do that and execute a stop. Now we'll tell it to go ahead and go to target. And there it goes. I've walked over and got the cable all fixed, and now the scope's going back.
Kent's fast. I didn't see him move a cable at all.
He's like the Flash.
Like boom, boom.
He's like the Flash.
Superman.
Yeah.
So it's acquired the target. So let's hit the next object. Oh, there we go. I knew there was an SCA object in our future. M95.
Instagram account, because let's see if I can find AE.
Now, Ken, how do you know when the mount is at the target?
I look at it, and when it quits moving, I know it's there. Or
so
hey,
how
Alex,
do you know it's quit moving? Because it doesn't look like it's moving very much at all.
Yeah, because here we'll watch another slew. We're going to watch these numbers right here. So let's go to the next object. We're going to watch the OTA data, okay? And this will give us a clue. We're going to go to M96, notice how the speed is really cranking, and now it's starting to slow down. It's ramping down, and now it's quit moving.
I'm looking at some of, I don't know if you guys can see this. These are shots that AE MIDI did using Explorstar's Windows to drive it. So
Oh, that's nice.
very nice. Yeah.
Hey,
If you zoom in on this galaxy, it's beautiful.
is that M80 182?
Yeah. Oh, and here's his rig. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so we got a Skywatcher Apo, and we've got an Exos 2 running PMC8. Yeah, very nice. This is
With just Explore Stars.
yeah.
What? Please tell us what your ask what the exposure times are, and how many stacks, and some details. That'd be interesting to know.
You have to jump on Instagram.
Yeah, is it on there? Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Instagram.
So we're going to something else. This is going to be a little bit longer run. Notice the RA and deck are moving. So the deck is finished, and the RA is finished, and so we know the slew is over with. Leo's a good target to bag a bunch of SCA objects. There's some nice objects there.
Good.
Is Alex
target.
there in the
A lot of
background?
galaxies.
Alex is here over. Hey, Alex, step this way just a little bit. There he is. There's Alex. Wave at the camera, Alex. Over there by the. There we go. Alex is an engineer here. Developed the Exos 100. Did a great job with it.
Yeah.
Has done.
Yeah, there's more to come.
Scott, talk about that a little bit. Talk about the development of the Exos 100.
The iXos
We haven't really
100?
talked about that much. Yep.
You
The
know,
Exos
well, we've been
100.
we've been doing all the demonstrations and everything on the iXos 100, and every day I've been putting a different, you know, payload on there. The first time we showed it was with a DSLR. You know, we then yesterday put on a 90 millimeter refractor. Today we've got an 80 millimeter spotting scope on there. The thing that's really great about this mount is its portability. It's smooth tracking, and the fact that this is an equatorial tracking platform that can not only be used for grab and go type of telescopes, but you know, for any kind of night sky photography where you have a lightweight system. You know, so it uses the same platform as our most advanced PMC8, same electronics, same applications and software run it. So once you know how to run you know, if you're stepping into astrophotography, you want to try it out before you go and spend you know, large sums of money on a big scope or something like that. You might want to look at the iXos 100. It has all the sophistication of the you know, the top end PMC8 system, which is the G11 at the moment. This system also auto guides, and you know, so you've seen some auto guiding dialogue within this group from time to time. But this is an equatorial tracker that does go-to and auto guiding. And so we saw it a couple of different ways. We saw it as a kind of a stripped-down version with a lighter weight tripod, and you know, and then we saw it as a full-blown, you know, equatorial tracker platform, which has a sturdier tripod. It has the polar scope, which you see kind of to the perpendicular right now to the telescope, kind of aiming out. It's a small 30 millimeter or 25 millimeter polar borescope mounted off to the side. The mount has adjustments, so you can adjust the cone angle. The spotting scope is mounted to a rail that we have. It's a dovetail, you know, 42 I think it's 42 millimeters wide, same as the Vixen standard. And but when you buy the equatorial tracking setup, you get all those extra things. Plus, you get a fine azimuth adjuster, which is between the medium duty tripod and the mount head itself. And this lets you make the real fine polar alignments that astrophotographers want. So it is a great seller. We're currently very temporarily sold out. We did not anticipate the rush on astronomical gear that a lot of us got over the last couple of months, and but we're expecting another delivery here in just a few weeks. So if you're expecting to get an iExos 100, you'd either have to buy it right now from stock from one of our dealers, if they have it in stock, or you'll be waiting just a few more weeks to get yours from us.
So I've gone to, I don't remember what I told it to go to. Jupiter, Saturn, maybe. Anyway,
What's
Venus.
the target OTA?
Venus.
What's the target data show?
So I'm looking for Venus. There we go. I had to lean in. Glasses aren't strong enough. Going to Venus. So that's why it's going over by the sun. Venus is blinded the sun. So that's a quick tour.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward. The configuration manager really makes this easy.
I'm sorry, Ken. I'll just
That's
pull
okay.
up the menu real quick one time. Let's look and see if there's any other buttons that we didn't talk about.
The app bar.
Yeah, the app bar.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's one thing.
MIDI,
the alignment.
said something really nice here. He says, if anyone needs any help with anything, just direct message me on Instagram and I'll try my best to help you. That's very cool. Yeah. See, this whole community is just built of all these people that love to share their information and love to help each other get there. I love that. That's great. Cesar is checking in from Argentina.
Who was?
Cesar Brolo.
Cesar.
Yeah.
Hey, Cesar.
Yeah. So Cesar is getting ready to do his. He's going to do a show with us on Explore Now, and so he's putting together a presentation to show us, what's going on down there in Argentina, and with the business, and also with the upcoming. I think he'll probably talk about the upcoming eclipse. It's December 2019. They'll be seen in Chile and in Argentina this year.
December 2020, you mean?
Yeah. Did I say 2019?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was already in a total eclipse in 2019. Yeah. See, that's the reason why I have other people that can bust my chops here on live.
Well, we try to be as accurate as we can get away with.
Yeah, that's as we can get away with.
Well, it's like when we couldn't find the Explore Stars database. I mean, that's something every user goes through. You know, I mean, it's we didn't plan it, but it's a great demonstration of how to work through the problems.
Yes.
So.
Right.
All right. So,
hey,
Jerry, what does capture target do? The M button.
So that's a test feature that we built into the application for us to record data as we. So anytime you want to, it creates a data file on the Windows machine. That's a CSV file. So every time you scroll to an object or you go to a position, you hit that button, it'll record the data for that position at the current time. And so we used it as a troubleshooting tool to test the alignment functions, but we left it in there. I don't know right offhand where the file is located at. I'm trying to. It's probably in the applications in is where it's at, but and you'll see that if you go look for it.
I'm not going.
No, you don't need to look for it here, but I'm saying the users
Unless
can go
you
look
want
for
me
it.
to. Yeah.
No, the users can go look for it. That's an Easter egg hunt.
Absolutely. Something to learn. Learn more about the computer.
There's a communications reset button there.
Yes, sir.
That's the R
Reset
button
com right here.
or
Yep.
com.
Reset. It's reset com link.
So
What
what
does that do,
happens
Jerry?
then? So in the communications mode that we use so what happens is sometimes the address that it streams to is no longer valid, and so you'll be able to send commands from the buttons out to the mount, and it'll respond, but you won't see any data coming back from the PMC8. It'll act like there's nothing going on the display there with the OTA data. So if you got that, if you can put it on speed 9 and move the mount, but you're not seeing the OTA position update, you can hit that reset button. It'll restore the communications for that.
So if I do it right now, what's going to happen? Disaster?
Well, no, it won't. It won't do anything to break it. It'll just reestablish the communication.
Well, can you really break it, Jerry?
I wouldn't say break it. You could be temporarily disabled, but it won't be broken in terms of getting it to work again.
The app is unbreakable, more or less, right? I mean, it's robust, it's stable.
Right, and there's, it's like any app. This is our first version of the Explore Stars that we released. It's under the Windows platform. It seems a little quirky compared to the other two because we've learned some things to develop on the iOS and the Android version. So the Windows version does probably seem a little quirky. The problem is it was developed under Windows 8, which I don't know if you know or not. Under Windows, that was their attempt to create a mobile platform on a desktop, and it restricts a lot of things that a phone restricts, but you don't notice it because it's a phone. Where on a laptop or a desktop, you would notice it, and that's why the Explore Stars under Windows is a little hobbled. It's not the best platform. That's why it's got that weird menu system that pulls out from the side, and all those other features, and the app bar and all that stuff. It's kind of like a mobile application, but it's on a desktop.
Was that called Metro or something?
It's a Metro app. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can search that on the internet.
Right,
but we're moving to the newest version of the source code that's built for the desktop and the tablet format. So it'll be much better when we go to that.
All right, Scott, any more questions come up or anybody else log in?
Let's see if we got any more questions. It's a little bit more, I'm looking at both. Caesar makes a comment. He says, well, actually, we're going to have new owners for the iXOS or the Exos 2 here in Argentina. So they're selling some down there. And he also mentioned December 14th is, I guess, remember talk about to be able to the sun in the menu. It will be very helping for the iXOS and the Eclipse and the solar imaging. Yeah.
So we need to do a session on how to polar align these in the daytime. So for people who are trying to do solar during the day, what they can do.
Yeah, I could probably bring my whole broadcasting rig outside, and we could actually really do it. So we'll have to practice and see how we can actually get the video to record that somehow, and then
get the cameras right.
Right, and then pick a day when it's not cloudy in Arkansas, which is not very often.
and not 100 degrees out in the sunshine either.
Yeah.
We want to wait until the fall.
100 degrees out in the sunshine for a little while. It's okay. But we often live in between thunderstorms here in Arkansas. So, but I hope that everyone has enjoyed the show today. Both on YouTube and on Facebook, and we will, as I learn how to use all these new tools I have right now to put in titling and all the rest of it, I'll get that figured out. In the meantime, you guys keep looking up. Our next, we will have, of course, shows every day as we have on the Open Go-To Community Live. We're running them at 4 o'clock Central, and then We are typically running our Explore Now series of shows when they come on about 6 p.m. Central. Sometimes they change a little bit because of our guests might have a constraint on their schedule or the time that they can be on, but count on them in those time frames between 4 and 6. Mike Overacker says, these talks have pretty much convinced me to look at the Exos 2. That's nice to hear, Mike. The Exos 2 PMC8 for my next mount for my astronomy mobile outreach vehicle program. That would be very cool. We'll have to connect you up live from your mobile outreach vehicle out there somewhere. That'd be very, very cool. Mr. MIDI is saying, are you going to make the PMC8 firmware open source? Okay. MIDI, what we are doing is we have sample code out there. If you want to really get serious, okay, I mean, you're seriously engaged in making an app, you need to contact us, and then we'll work with you to make sure that your app gets up and flying. We are a little cautious of having copycat programs out there where people put in malicious software. We just don't want people to get a bad experience. So,
we do offer. I want to say that we offer on our website the programmer's reference manual, so you can see exactly how to do the programming.
How we did it, yeah.
How we do it, and the ASCOM driver is actually completely open source. It's got it's available when you download the driver. It's an option to install the source code for the application or for the ASCOM driver onto your machine, so you can play with it and learn how the commands work and how we actually do all the things we do with the ASCOM driver, which is basically fully exercises all the features of the PMC8.
Yes, that's right. Okay, I think that's it. We will see you everyone tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central. Thanks very much. And there's Kent. Take care, everyone, and good night.